The least wealthy name on the list is that of Florida's controversial governor, who had initially promised to pose a serious challenge to Mr. Trump, but who has subsequently failed to pick up the support needed and repeatedly looked uncomfortable meeting members of the public at campaign events, cutting a socially awkward and insincere figure. Mr. DeSantis's net worth was revealed by a state disclosure filed for 2022 that valued him at $1.17 million and reported that his $1,174,331.07 salary as the Sunshine State's governor had been significantly supplemented by the receipt of a $1.25 million advance from the publisher HarperCollins for the writing of his second book, The Courage to Be Free. Those numbers remain comparatively modest for a candidate whose profile has only grown since the COVID-19 pandemic. His spats with the Walt Disney Company and implementation of draconian anti-LGBT+ policies in Florida's schools regularly making national headlines. By contrast, Mr. DeSantis's predecessor in the role, Rick Scott, had a net worth of $255 million. The former South Dakota governor and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations under Donald Trump has an $8 million net worth, according to Forbes. When she left the Trump administration in 2018, the publication reports, her parents were in dire straits financially after making an ill-advised investment in a local strip mall, and she was forced to repeatedly bail them out with personal loans or risk losing the family home on Lake Murray near Lexington. Since then, however, she has amassed a considerable fortune from after-dinner speaking engagements to businesses and political organizations, earning $2.3 million from just 11 such events in 2022, Forbes states. She wrote 2 books on leadership in the same interval and served on the board of several companies, including Boeing and the United Homes Group, ultimately making enough money to resolve her family's debt problems and secure their future. The former governor of Arkansas grew up on a farm in Gravette, near Bentonville, and is now worth an estimated $1.5 million. According to Forbes, most of his wealth is tied up in his house, which he bought 13 years ago for $514,000, and which is now worth around $1.2 million. The politician also has an estimated $300,000 worth of pensions from the federal government and the state of Arkansas. It took Mr. Trump's estranged former vice president, once a congressman and governor of Indiana, almost 2 decades of public service to become a millionaire, but he has quadrupled his fortune since leaving office, according to Forbes, and is currently worth an estimated $4 million. Mr. Pence, a favorite among evangelicals, passed the $1M mark in federal and state pensions in 2019, but has made $3.4 million since leaving office in January 2021 by undertaking a public speaking tour, making 32 addresses between January 2022 and June 2023 to rack up that sum. He has also published a memoir, So Help Me God, in the same period and received a generous advance, as did his wife Karen for her own book When It's Your Turn to Serve. The couple have since spent $1.9 million on a 5-acre estate in Columbus, Indiana, and invested in blue-chip companies on the stock market such as Apple, Pfizer, and Lockheed Martin. The second richest candidate on the debate stage, the Ivy League-educated Vivek Ramaswamy, worked as an investment partner at Wall Street hedge fund QVT Financial before founding a successful biotech company, Roivant Sciences, in 2014, and then the anti-woke index fund provider Strive Asset Management in 2022. He now has a net worth of $630 million, according to Forbes, which likens him to other super-rich investors who have recently taken the political plunge like Tom Steyer, Michael Bloomberg, and Mr. Trump himself. Like several of his Republican rivals, he has also published a number of books, including Woke Incorporated, Inside Corporate America's Social Justice Scam and Nation of Victims, Identity Politics, The Death of Merit, and The Path Back to Excellence. The South Carolina senator, aiming to become only the second black president of the United States and the first single man to occupy the White House since 1886, reportedly has a net worth of $3.88 million. Originally raised in poverty by a single mother in North Charleston, Mr. Scott found a mentor in the shape of local businessman John Moniz while working at a cinema. The latter encouraged him to pursue his ambitions, and he was soon working as an insurance agent and as a financial advisor, eventually starting his own insurance company, Tim Scott Allstate, before being elected to Charleston City Council in 1995 and then the Senate in 2011. Mr. Scott's congressional salary is worth $174,000 a year, and he was also reportedly paid a $184,167 advance by HarperCollins for his own memoir. The four-time indicted former president has said he is not taking part in the first GOP debate, but his personal wealth is the most dissected and discussed of all the 2024 candidates and remains something of a mystery. Forbes has estimated Mr. Trump's wealth at around $2.5 billion, down from $3.2 billion in 2022. But while a candidate and in the White House, Mr. Trump refused to open up his personal finances for public scrutiny, falsely claiming he could not as he was under audit by the IRS. There was never anything preventing him from doing so. Mr. Trump's company, the Trump Organization, owns real estate and golf clubs in the U.S. and abroad. Meanwhile, his social media platform Truth Social was once estimated to be worth $730 million, but has dropped in value by around $550 million, reported Fox News. Mr. Trump was, of course, born into a wealthy New York family and inherited an estimated $40 million from his late real estate developer father, Fred Trump. However, the figure, whatever its true amount, took a hit on January 26 after Mr. Trump was ordered to pay U.S. author E. Jean Carroll $83 over defamatory statements he made about the former Elle magazine writer.